Larry's not a spring chicken, but I'm not canceling him. Hi fans of high quality entertainment. Larry asked me if I would share my feelings and my review of the Paul McCartney performance at the 50th anniversary Saturday Night Live episode we just watched a couple nights ago. You know, it's the review you didn't ask for, and I'm just gonna give you my thoughts on it. Larry had kind of mentioned to me before that there was kind of not backlash, but a little bit of opinions on Paul's performance, and should he, you know, retire, give it up, you know, things like that, right? And I thought, boy, this has got to be like a really bad, like, he's performed really poorly, like, I've got to watch this. So we watched most of the show, and at the end was Paul McCartney. And there was people complaining that he was at the end of the show too, and I thought, well, what's wrong with that? Like, that was a great ending to the, you know, Martin Short introducing him and things. So when we got Paul McCartney's performance, I was kind of, you know, waiting to see what was wrong, what the problem was. And Larry and I sat, and I think it was maybe his second time watching it, or maybe his first all the way through, but my first time. And I thought it was great. I thought he did such a good job. He looked so good, and he did well, and the band was so into it, and the vibe was so good. And you know, Larry and I sat and watched it silently, and I looked at Larry at the end, and I said, you know, I'm teary-eyed, you know, because he did such a, you know, it was such a treat to see him, and for him to be well and be with us and be able to do the show that he did, and the band to be so into it as well. And you could tell the band had so much respect for him, and they just, and the crowd was into it. And I just thought, I couldn't see what the problem was that anyone would have to say that he isn't on his game, or, you know, not at his best, or he should retire, or say goodbye to him. Like, I thought, aren't you just appreciative that he's here, he's giving you a free performance, it's like, he did. I got mad about it. I said to Larry, I said, what's people's problem? I said, like, he looks great, he sounds good, like, would you want him to sound like he's 25? Like, he's not. Like, what do you want from him? What's your end game to make, you know, to criticize him? I just don't get it. And I thought, and I'm not a big, you know, I'm not, well, I love the Beatles, but I'm not anything close to Larry or anybody else, you know, that he's, you know, friends with, or on YouTube and all his channels and things. But I did feel a bit protective of him too. I thought, like, how sweet he is, and how he still shows up and still does, you know, entertains people and gives them, shares the love with people, right? The love you give. And I thought, for someone to, after that, to come on and say, like, well, I think it's time for him to go, and it's time for, you know, like, I think he needs to leave on a, you know, like, it's, who are you to say that? I don't, and the people that, you know, were talking about, you know, I love Paul, but, no but, you love Paul. And he's, you know, I love Paul, but he should retire, but I'd see him in concert next year. So, do you want him to retire? Do you want him to sound like he's 25? Do you want him, what do you want him to do? Like, what's your point? Just be positive and say that it was so great to see Paul. He did a great job. The band, they were so energetic. What a great way to end the Saturday Night Live, you know, 50th anniversary. I don't see where the negativeness comes into it. Or, you know, people even saying that, you know, Ozzy Osbourne should be, you know, or I've seen Phil Collins, all these kind of things. But it's like, if they still want to perform, and still, people still want to see them and be in their presence and just have that experience, what's wrong with that? What is wrong with it? Like, Alright, I'm getting mad. I would think, too, if I was Paul McCartney, or like his daughters or whatever it was, and you see the negative response to him doing nothing but giving you entertainment for free, love, trying to show what he still has, having fun. He looked, you know, he was great. And to have like negative responses to it, I would just think like, just throw your hands in the air and be like, what do you want? You know, what do you want from him? Is he supposed to apologize too that he's older? And oh, sorry, it wasn't the perfect performance, and I thought it was great. I don't even think it was bad. Like, I was looking for what was wrong with it. People saying, "Oh, he didn't hit the notes, and his voice wasn't as strong." Well, you do it. You sing it. You play the guitar. You stand up. You do it at the end of the night. At that age, I don't know. I think it was what I was just kind of getting worked up when I was talking to Larry about it after we watched it. I looked at him, like I said, and I said, I'm teary-eyed, and I said, what's people's problem? Like, what was the problem with that? What do they want? What's their end game? What's their point? I also asked Larry where Ringo was. Oh, why isn't Ringo there? And he said that Paul had more of a connection to Saturday Night Live, but I thought it would have been nice to see Ringo too. And then if Ringo got there, it's like, oh, forbid, like he goes there and he doesn't hit a note, like, oh, he'll get backlash too. It's like, why can't you just appreciate that they're here, they're showing up? Aren't the Beatles about love? That's what I always took from it, getting to know, through Larry and things. It was just like the Beatles were just sharing love. And I think that's what Paul's earned, like the respect he deserves for everything he's given to people for so many years. I don't think it's in anyone's place to tell someone as well what they should be doing with their life, with their career, with anything. I think it's like, who are you? You're just making a YouTube video telling Paul to retire and to say goodbye to Paul? Like, where's that coming from? Why? Why do you feel like you have that right to say that to him or to anybody? You can have your opinion on if it was good or not. I mean, but why can't you just accept it for what it is? Take it for what it is. It's Paul McCartney. He was performing live at the age he is. What is he? I don't know, 84? Regardless, he's showing up for you with no strings attached, wants to entertain you. There he is, and you criticize him. He must feel, Larry and I have talked about, if you were a celebrity, how exhausting it must be, because it's like you cannot do anything to please everyone. Everyone's going to have a problem with you. There's going to be a nitpicker. There's going to be someone that, they think they have the right to judge and comment on your life and tell you what to do. It's like, who are you to tell Paul McCartney that he needs... Okay, I'm babbling. I think another part that was very emotional, that I felt teary-eyed and things, was especially just seeing the camaraderie of the band with him. And you could just feel the love that they had and how the longevity, the history they've had with him, and how proud they were of him and doing this with him. And I thought how special that was. And I just think that was what everyone should take from his performance. It's like Sir Paul McCartney, Martin Short presenting Sir Paul McCartney, having a great set. That's it. It was great. And I think good for him, and I hope there's lots more years that he can still do that for people and make people happy, and just he'll make Larry happy. And if Larry's happy, I'm happy. The love you give is equal to the love you make. Is that right? See, I'm not a Beatles, but I love you, Paul. Baby, I'm done. What is it? The love you give is equal to love you make.
The love you make is equal to the love you take. The love you take is equal to the love you make.
Oh, maybe I said that. I don't know. And I went, I used to carry that weight. What is it? How is it called?
Boy, you got to carry that weight.
Boy.
Do you want to redo part of it?
I said I'm not a Beatles fan, but I started singing the wrong lyric. The love that you make is equal to the love.
The love you take is equal to the love you make.